Hello, BookTube, and welcome to Weekly Reads. I've had a pretty good reading week, even though I've only finished one book and started another. So let's get started. The book I read or finished is Post-War, Post-Square: How Bush, Gorbachev, Kohl, and Ding Shaped the World After 1989 by Kristina Spohr. I loved this book. This book is phenomenal. I loved every minute of reading it. So it looks at the end of the Cold War with the liberalization of the Soviet Union through perestroika and glasnost, and also how the Chinese liberalized their economy through a sort of the beginnings of their authoritarian capitalism or state capitalism, but never engaged with the political liberalization. And moving on to how the Poles and the Hungarians sort of led the vanguard of the sort of Soviet satellite states beginning to move away from communism through peaceful protests. And then the end of the GDR, the German Democratic Republic, and its merger with the Federal Republic into a united Germany. And then it looked at sort of the relationships that would be forming as the Soviet Union began. Well, now I think it moves to the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the sort of the security issues in Europe, the Gulf War, and then ending with the sort of the reemergence of China after several years of reaction to Tiananmen. So this book is really, really good. I loved it. It's, really phenomenal. So, yeah. Ooh, also a chunkster. But, yeah, so that was a great reading experience. My one critique probably is with the subtitle. I think that Ding, he has some appearances. Obviously, the first chapter is contrasting how he and Gorbachev handled sort of liberalizing their respective economies, and how Gorbachev also focused on political liberalization, while the Chinese did not. And then at the ending, when Ding reasserts authority after a few years of a more reactionary government in the immediate aftermath of Tiananmen. But I think it would argue that Francois Mitterrand, the French president, and Margaret Thatcher, the British Prime Minister, probably should be included in that subtitle, because their contributions are as impactful. Although with Thatcher's case, maybe more defeatist, as she tended more to have a bit of an antagonistic relationship towards German unification and the accretion of the European Union, which also heavily features in Post-War, Post-Square. But yeah. Also, I really enjoyed some of the cameos of individuals who are current leaders. Donald Trump there's a scene very early in the book when Gorbachev comes to the U.S. in '88 to speak at the UN and meet with President Reagan for the last time, and to get the sense of President-elect Bush that during his trip, there was some mention of him possibly visiting Trump Tower. And that plan kind of changed and he didn't go, but that there was a Gorbachev lookalike who was in the area and Trump going down to try to get him to come to Trump Tower. Was funny. And then I think there was another bit later on where I think his financial difficulties, probably in relation to sort of the economic recession in the early 90s, and I think also some discussion of what he would do as president, again in the early 90s. And then obviously the epilogue ends with a few paragraphs of a very strongly worded condemnation of his foreign policy, or lack thereof. Also, Vladimir Putin was in Dresden, I think, at this time, as a KGB operative. And then also Angela Merkel has several appearances, which is, I mean, really this is her start, her rise to eventually becoming Chancellor of Germany. So it's really good. I kind of enjoyed it. Except for maybe the subtitle quibble, but that probably is not her. On her, it's more of the publisher. So after I finished Post Wall, Post Square, I moved on to Empire of the Black Sea by Duane W. Roller. This is a very short, necessarily short history of the Kingdom of Pontus, or as the subtitle says, the Mithridatic Kingdom, or the Mithridatic World. And it is necessarily short because ultimately there aren't that many sources, without necessarily going into a really sort of specialist attention to the pieces of history that are acquired. More so archaeological finds rather than, say, written sources. So, I mean, yeah, it's necessarily a very short book. I'm about halfway through. I've finished part one that dealt with all of the kings of Pontus before Mithridates VI, who is the most famous. And I'll get to him tomorrow. And I should finish the book tomorrow. I've got about 103 pages left, give or take. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. One thing I think is of note, the first chapter, I think, is a master class on how to do world building, particularly like if you're a fantasy writer or science fiction writer and you're doing world building. Well, once you've figured out like what you want to do, how you want to go about, like have your ideas settled, how Roller kind of sets out the geography, the sketching in the politics and the economy and the peoples. I think this first chapter is really how it should be done. Just my opinion. But yeah, I really enjoyed it so far. And once I finish Empire of the Black Sea, I'm going to start on Arabs, a 3,000-year history of peoples, tribes, and empires by Tim Mackintosh-Smith. Looking forward to this, and I'll let you know how it goes next week, because I should have it finished by next week, hopefully. So that's my reading plans. If I manage to finish Arabs before next Friday, I'll start on something else for the last few days of August. Not entirely sure what it'll be yet. It might be a history, it might be fiction of some sort or other. I also really need to get started on the last book for the BookTube Prize, Chanel Miller's Know My Name. I haven't picked it up yet. I'm still debating whether I want a physical copy or try the be like an audiobook again. I did listen to not Charged, American Predator and In the Dream House as audiobooks, and I'm not entirely sure I like audiobooks, so I don't know if I should like give it another go or just buy a copy. I have been trying to. My preference for the book to price has been to ebooks or like get them from the library. Unfortunately, my library's thing is not being very cooperative. I can't log in. I don't know quite what's wrong. I mean, my card's expired, but I can still log into the main site, so I don't know what's going on there. And even if I did manage to log in, I think my name's been taken down for some reason, so it's frustrating. But yeah, so if I decide to buy a copy, I might start it this week or might sometime in September. I also probably sometime this coming week will do my film ShakeTube video, also showing my copy of the complete works of Shakespeare. Steve Duane, who's wanting to see pictures of our complete works of Shakespeare, and I haven't taken a picture yet, so I'll just show it in a video. I don't have anything to like display it with because I have no dogs, no cats. So I did think about maybe one of the 4 Children of the Apocalypse, but they would probably destroy the book, so yeah, we're not going to do that. And then also a Space Opera September. Although I'm not going to participate as heavily as I did last year, I pretty much read most of the books I have that fulfilled a lot of the prompts. So I need to debate what I want to do there. What else is there? Oh yeah, on the movie front, I watched Drum and Spring of Mrs. Stone, which I quite enjoyed. I mean, I've seen it several times, so it's really nothing new for me. I quite enjoyed it, particularly Lotte Linya's performance. She's who was not really fond of Warren Beatty's performance, so I just didn't think it really worked. I mean, maybe it's in part his accent is just terrible, and obviously he's in brownface, although he's playing an Italian character, and he's wearing makeup that makes his skin look browner or more tanned, and the accent is just atrocious. But so yeah, so it was kind of a mixed bag. I don't plan on watching any movies this coming week. There's nothing on TCM, and I probably should focus a bit more on like clearing out my YouTube watch later list and eventually try to get back onto watching Netflix. So anyway, so that I'm rambling now, so I'll kind of before I forget, so I haven't been doing any writing videos lately, in part because I really haven't had much progress that really warrants making a video. Also, I've been unmotivated creatively to write, particularly the project that I've been focusing a lot of my writing videos on, Akarja the Sorcerer. There's something about it. I don't know if I need to do more research, more world building, get a better idea of the world and the setting and see if I can get more ideas from that, or I've been working on this project so long. I mean, it was a version of it was my NaNoWriMo project for last year. And I've been playing with it ever since. Then I'm just kind of burnt out from it. I don't know. But I do want to do a writing video next week looking at like my issues and all of that. But I think starting in September, when I start thinking about this upcoming NaNoWriMo, I think I want to sort of do a lot of videos focusing on the idea, the pre-writing, the like how you get ready to actually write the story. So that's my idea. I don't know if I'll actually do it or not, but we'll see. So now I am definitely rambling, BookTube, so I'm going to end the video now. I'll try to have a few more videos up next week. There are about 2 tags I want to do in the writing video, so we'll see. Anyway, BookTube, I'll see you next week. Thank you, and stay safe. Thank you, BookTube.